I'm joined now by Riley County's Emergency Management Director and Fire Chief Russell Stukey. Chief, thank you so much for joining us this Friday.
Glad to be here.
Glad to have you. It has been quite the busy month for firefighters all across the state here, and especially over in Riley County. The start of April saw the Burklund Axelton fire, a fire that needed crews from all across the state just to address. Now, from your perspective as fire chief, what's the experience of fighting a wildfire like that look like?
It's an all hands on deck affair with the weather conditions we had, the wind, the rough terrain, the inaccessible terrain in the river bottom with all the silty soil just made it very difficult.
Yeah, and you mentioned there that it was all hands on deck, multiple agencies responding to that fire, such as the Kansas Forest Service, the Kansas National Guard, U.S. Wildlife and Parks, and more. But one aspect I wanted us to touch on here this morning is the volunteer firefighters that made a difference. Can I have you speak to the impact that volunteer firefighters have on wildfires like the one earlier this month, and even at the local level in communities like Riley County?
Sure. So Riley County Fire District number 1, you know, there's only 3 paid people, and we have about 130 volunteers, and so our volunteers put in over 1,500 hours of service fighting that fire over the multiple days. We had over 250 apparatus hours to do that. So obviously we couldn't do that without our volunteers.
Yeah, and absolutely incredible work that they're doing, those volunteers over there. Well, we are well into burning season here. What should those at home know about agriculture burning and wildfire safety this time of year?
So, you know, this time of year in Kansas, the ag producers are maintaining their property by doing prescribed burns and control burns. That's to keep the invasive species out so that long-term fires don't get as out of hand as they could if those pastures weren't maintained. The vast majority of our agricultural producers do it in a responsible manner. You know, it's 1 or 2 bad apples that cause most of the problems.
Right, and could I have you speak to the impact that, you know, those 1 or 2, like you're saying there, you know, really make for everybody in the community?
Sure. You know, when one fire gets out of control, you know, it ended up causing thousands and thousands of dollars of damage and resources expended to get that under control.
Right. Well, what are some ways that everyday people can help prevent wildfires and even protect their homes from a wildfire event? You
know, keep defensible space around your home. Don't have a lot of vegetation up close to your home. Don't have, you know, even the wood chips that a lot of people like to put in their flower beds. You know, use more of a rock type material. Keep those evergreen trees, especially the cedar trees. You know, you want to keep them back at least 100 feet from your home. They can just kind of go up like a torch.
Yeah. Well, Chief Stukey, thank you again for joining us this Friday. We wish you and the rest of your staff a safe rest of the burning season here.
Thanks.
Of course. And with that, we'll send it back over to Miss Becky Taylor for another look at your day ahead.
I for sure am glad to only be reporting a fiery sunrise as opposed to some fires across the area. So we've got a great shot here out of our Clay Center camera. Look at those colors that have really been showing up within the last 5 or so minutes.